Okay. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1? Yes. We are now live. How you doing, friends? This is Ernie from the Trader of Futures, or the Trader of Futures. And I haven't been on the air for about a week or so. And a lot of people have been asking me, "Where are you, Ernie?" Or "Ernie is hiding because Bitcoin is mooning." And neither of those are the case, or that isn't the case. I'm not hiding. And I don't think that Bitcoin is mooning now. Its dominance is obviously mooning, which is a good thing. And the reason why I say that's a good thing is that means that altcoins are failing. So it's not that Bitcoin continues up as much as most of the altcoins are tanking. And we can see that right behind me. Let's see, I gotta get my controls up here. You can see it right there. We're right near about 70% dominance. And let's take a look at where Bitcoin is right now. All right. So it looks like it's following my third prediction. Now, as I said, I had 3 different predictions here. This was what I felt was the most likely to happen. Then I said that if it moved up here, then these others would become a higher probability as they went past these different levels here. Now, I didn't put a fourth possibility that, should it go above this level? Should it go above this level? What will happen? That is uncharted territory. That's why I didn't put it out there. Will it go above this level? I don't know. But I'm looking at this kind of consolidation or this slowing down or what some might call a rounding over. It looks more like a consolidation than rounding over, but it could. It looks like we may start moving down here. And so I'm still putting a target of 79.68. But why are you listening to me? Am I some kind of artificial intelligence that knows the future? I mean, I just look at this from a probabilistic point of view. And also from a volume profile, supply-demand point of view. That it appears to me that there's heavy-duty resistance here. If we do move up into this territory, I think that we can really start moving up very quickly. So that makes me then reevaluate this whole pattern here that I originally called the anatomy, or identified it as a clear anatomy of a bubble happening, right? So is that what's happening here? Now, there are 2 different possibilities. One is that this could still be in the context of the anatomy of a bubble, and we could move down and then continue moving down, and everything would be fine, right? The other is that this move here, or any move like this, are microcosms of perhaps a much larger bubble move. So that's why I'm saying, is Bitcoin going to 53,000? Because what I'm doing there is I'm projecting. Could be 53,000. Could be 100,000. Could be 1 million. I don't know. Could be any of those. Is this just a little blip in the bigger picture? Maybe one of those bear traps. When it starts moving down a little bit like it did here. And then it will start mooning again. And then when you look back at it, this whole consolidation here that's happened since mid-June will then look like a small blip in comparison. I mean, I'm just laying out the possibility that could happen. So is it possible that Bitcoin will rise above the 13,000 and then break out and just take off? That is a definite possibility. Everything's possible in this world. Everything. You know, I was just watching Bitcoin Daily's video on his analysis of Bitcoin energy consumption and his hypothesis that Bitcoin may be the mother of all invention for miners to find and discover new and cheap renewable energy sources in order to keep this thing going. And while it's an interesting hypothesis, I don't think he has really any idea what he's talking about. It just sounds good. Claiming that solar and other types of and wind and hydropower are the cheapest forms of energy, which are simply not true. The most efficient and cheapest form of energy, without question, without any kind of competitor, is nuclear energy. I mean, there's just nothing that's even close. So that kind of blows a lot of his hypothesis out of the water. That somehow Bitcoin, and I heard the same argument made by Andreas Antonopoulos about 2 years ago, that Bitcoin would be the impetus for reshaping the way we pursue energy on the globe, on a global basis. That Bitcoin will become that valuable, which it's very hard for me to believe. I mean, one of the ideas that Bitcoin Daily was putting out was that there was this flaw. Is there a flaw in Bitcoin? Is there a technical flaw? Are there bugs in the code? Is this energy consumption a roadblock for it going higher? Is the fact that 96% of the wealth is being held by about 3% of the wallets out there, is that a problem? I mean, do you have a problem with that? Do you have a problem participating in a system where, and I'm not saying that that's much different than our current fiat-based system, but do you have a problem entering into a system where you're already a severe underdog? Is that a problem? I don't know. Is there enough Satoshis to go around for the rest of the world and to turn a few people into trillionaires? Again, very good question. Does any of this really matter? Are we really worried that the world economic situation is blight, that it is moving up to a period of transition, a great reckoning? I've looked at this huge head and shoulders that pattern that has been formed over the past 2 decades, they say, of foreign currencies, and that it appears as if most currencies are going to drop off a cliff relative to the U.S. dollar. So what does that do to the U.S. dollar? Is that good or bad? We're having these currency wars currently, or trade wars, which are de facto currency wars with China. I mean, China, a lot of people talk about how Trump is putting these tariffs on China and that it is a de facto tax on products that we get from China. But is it? Is China actually going out there and raising the price of all their products? Or a better way to say it, are people raising the price of all these products? People that get the Chinese products, their cost apparently is going up. Are they feeling it? Are they then passing that extra price hike on to the consumer? Or is there something else that's happening? I mean, have you noticed prices spike since President Trump added the 25% tariff? I haven't. There hasn't been any evidence of it. And that's because China's been doing something very, very different. What they've been doing is they've been devaluing the yuan. the renminbi, the Chinese currency, has been devalued so that it makes up for the difference. So that, in other words, China's offering their products even cheaper to distributors around the world, so the distributors don't have to do anything. They're getting the same thing for less money. Or, put it another way, it's basically they're paying more, but they're getting the same. Or they're paying more, they're getting more. What it really comes down to is China is taking a hit. They're taking one for the team. But what that means is that the Chinese people are working harder for less money. And this is putting tremendous pressure on China. Don't get me wrong. It's not like China can just, twirl the knobs and then everything's okay. It just sort of absorbs all the extra tariff. No, that's not what's happening at all. Chinese people are being put under tremendous pressure. Governments and people who are in political power are being put under tremendous pressure to produce and to keep production up for less money, while everything else in the world just sort of stays copacetic. Now, a lot of people would say, well, China holds all the cards with holding $1 trillion of U.S. debt. What if they just decided to dump all that debt on the open market? Well, if they did that, it would surely crash the prices of bonds and interest rates would go soaring. But how is that helpful to China? Then all their debt becomes worthless. They can put it on the open market, but they'll get nothing for it. No return. Quite the opposite. So we know that's not going to happen. I mean, by evidence of what they've just done with the yuan, they've decided to devalue the currency so that they can still play the game. They are desperate to stay and to keep their products being distributed throughout the world. And we, in the meantime, what's happening is if they cannot keep up with that, if companies, factories in China cannot keep up with that, if they can't continue to produce those products for less money, those products, that manufacturing is going to start finding different places. The need will be taken up by other manufacturers of other countries, like Taiwan or Vietnam or other places, or even the U.S. I mean, if the products become so expensive that it wouldn't matter whether we get it from China or someplace else, then it'll go someplace else. So China is in a precarious situation. We aren't. The U.S. isn't. So what does that have to do with Bitcoin? Does that then provide a crack in the system for Bitcoin to fill the void? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. People talk about how it is somehow the correlation between Bitcoin and gold has doubled, as if that means something. So what they're saying is that over the past 3 months, or 4 or 5 months, let's say 6 months, the correlation between Bitcoin and gold has been around, on the correlation coefficient, around 0.4. Which isn't particularly high, but it's relatively high. And then over the past month, it has jumped up to 0.8. What does that mean? Well, it really means nothing, because it's such a small data point. A small data point where you say, well, the correlation for the past month has been very high. What does that mean? It means nothing. Correlations mean nothing unless they exist over very, very long periods of time. Then you can say they're correlated. To say that something is correlated for one period of time is akin to saying that, my usage or my buying of cheese seems to be very well correlated to ice cream manufacturing in Japan. I mean, for like a month, it seemed like every time I bought cheese, ice cream manufacturing went up in Japan. So are they correlated? No. So it's a ridiculous point this point that has been put out there that the correlation has doubled. It means nothing. Nothing from a statistical point of view. It's not saying anything. It's just a bunch of words that mean nothing. They think that somehow that there is a direct correlation now between gold and Bitcoin, but there isn't. As a matter of fact, Bitcoin isn't correlated to any modern asset in any appreciable way for any period of time. Chuck A, let's see, we got some comments here. Adam, I think retest of 11 to 10K and continuation of the daily trend would be good. Thompson Trucking is saying, would you buy if we breach 12K? It has nothing to do with buying or selling or anything like that. I'm accumulating Bitcoin no matter what, just from doing business. As a matter of fact, this is a good time to say that Bitcoin signals are coming. As a matter of fact, they are here. Our Bitcoin signals are here. So if you're interested, until the end of the month, we're going to be offering yearly plans at a severe discount. So if you go to PatternCast.com or if you go to the link below and click through, you'll see that we're offering the yearly plan for our Bitcoin signals at a very reduced rate until the end of this month as an introductory. So if you want to get into it. To me, that would be the way to play Bitcoin or to accumulate more Bitcoin. Get a hold of a good broker that offers margin so that you can go long and short and you can start building up your Bitcoin cash. That's C-A-C-H-E, not C-A-S-H. So why would I buy when something is going higher? I would buy it only in the context of it's perhaps going to break out and take advantage of that and then sell it. Dates wrong. Oh, V. Lee is pointing out my dates wrong. You know, because that was the last time I had a show. You know that? That was the last show that I did. Bitcoin News Laughs, Wednesday, July 31st. So we'll change that. We will change that. Let's change that right now. There we go. Hopefully that makes you feel better. Bitcoin up to 17K soon. What do you think? It's possible. I think if it goes to 17K, it's just as likely to go to 53K. And that's why I put 53K, because that would be my projection if we break out and above 14,000. It could go to 100,000, it could go to 1 million. Actually, your prediction is wrong. It's 53,987.23. Thank you, Delta Digger. What broker is best for Bitcoin that's legit with U.S. authorities? What I found was Kraken, and that's who I am. That's what I have. And that's what Adam says, Kraken. 5 times leverage. Thompson Trucking, this is not a Bitcoin hat. This is not a Bitcoin hat. This is a Boston Red Sox hat. Boston Red Sox. B for Boston. Because they're my team. Lee says, yes, you thought you went off to Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard. Well, I'll be visiting Martha's Vineyard most of this month. And so I will be broadcasting there for a little bit from our place there. And so you'll be seeing that. That is true. And that's one of the other reasons why I'm offering the Bitcoin signals until the end of the month, because that's when, after I spend all that time on the vineyard, I'll be decompressing. I don't know what I'm decompressing from. It's not like I do anything. And then I'll be ready to really hit the grindstone, put the nose to the grindstone, so as they say. But I wanted to show you on right here. If you go to PatternCast, so PatternCast is our site. That's where we offer our PatternCast trading signals for Forex futures and stocks. We are also bringing Bitcoin signals, and you can purchase this plan with crypto, by the way. V. Lee, Bruins suck. Really. I sold at 11,800. Good. Waiting for 8,800. Go long Blue Jays. Yeah, well, maybe. I'm all about right now. I mean, looks like the Red Sox aren't going to do so well this year. They're letting the wild card race slip away from them. Right now, it's all about the Patriots. Will Tom Brady come back and win a 7th Super Bowl? There's the big question. But anyways, if you go to PatternCast, here's PatternCast. And then right in the middle of PatternCast, you'll see Bitcoin signals coming soon. You can click there. And from here, you can either express your interest in it, or you can pre-purchase. Now, we're already doing scans and starting to put signals out there, but you can pre-purchase signals right now and buy a yearly membership, which you'll be locked into forever at that price of $350 or $349. Now, the price at the end of this month is going to jump up to $12.95 per year. That's what it's going to be. All right? And if you go to check it out, go to check out, that's what I'm doing here. I'm showing you. You'll see right here, there is an option to pay with Bitcoin, Litecoin, or other altcoins. So you can pick up Bitcoin signals with Bitcoin. And that will be good for a year. And then at the end of that year, you can renew if you want. It'll be the same price. That $349 price, not the $12.95. But if you wait until September 1st, then it'll be $12.95. Now, why would you pay $12.95 for such things? Because this is PatternCast, man. This signal service is just off the charts, off the hook. It's the most incredible thing that I've ever seen. And I'm basing my entire future on this. I am betting it all because I believe in it that much. PatternCast is without a doubt the most significant technology I have seen developed in trading in my lifetime. It's as simple as that. And now we're applying it to Bitcoin. And not only that, what we have done is we have hired some developers to create an aggregate Bitcoin data feed that takes all the largest exchanges out there and adjusts for their differences and their difference in weights by volume and other factors and volatility and other things to give us a feed that we can then analyze and find patterns in that you couldn't do just by looking at one exchange like Coinbase or Kraken or Bitstamp or whatever. And so you'll be able to use this service. It'll generate signals that will be good, that you'll be able to apply across any exchange. And that's the cool part. And it'll have the same kind of integrity or of reliability, return or whatever that PatternCast has for Forex futures and stocks, which is extremely high. Highest I've ever seen, actually. So anyways, we're announcing that. Ernie, describe the individual who would pay $1 million for a Bitcoin. He'll be sweating before he taps enter and suicidal the week later. There will be people if it ever did moon like that and go, just go off the. There will be some people that will do that. So point of control at 3,800-ish no longer means anything. The point of control isn't a technical indicator ever in volume profile that somehow point of control that price should gravitate towards point of control. So I'm not sure exactly where you're getting that. So I'll say point of control at 3,800 has never meant anything, or at any other price. Now, what does mean something is what is the most recent, most heavy volume node. All right, so the biggest volume node and the most recent one has the most impact. Now, past volume nodes will also have more impact, but you could look at something over 12 years and it might have a point of control, but it may have no relevance on what's happening now or even in the past 3 or 4 years. It might have relevance over 12 years, but it may not have any other relevance. So to pin things on point of control, POC being at 3,800, yeah, it's not that it no longer means something, is that it never meant anything. It could have meant something at some point, but it certainly doesn't mean anything now, in my view. Any idea of how many Bitcoin signals per month PatternCast may average? No, I don't. But I'm going to guess and say 3 or 4 a week. Typo in the title. Oh yeah, look at that. Maybe it's not a typo. Maybe that means something. Now I've just changed the meaning. Really, by the way, you're the only person that ever points out anything that's in the title. I don't know what that means. But in any event, do I think that Bitcoin is going to take off from here? I'm going to put those odds kind of... you're going to probably be surprised at this. I'm going to say 30% chance that Bitcoin moons from here. 30% chance that if we break through the 13,000 barrier, that most recent volume node. Yeah, let's put it up there. Well, 12,000. If we break, now this is of course Coinbase, it could be different on others. If we break through here and we move above these recent highs, I'd say that I'd say then we're up in the probably the 50-50 range. But from here, I'd say that there's about a 30% chance. I think there's a 70% chance that we move down, as I have since I first drew this about a week ago, about 2 weeks ago actually. All right. So each time it went above these different levels, I first said, hey, it's 70 going down here, 30 going up. Well, it broke that. Then once it got up to here, it was 70 going down here, 30 going up. All right, now we're up here, and I'm saying the same thing. 70 going down here, 30 going up. If we break above the 13,000 level, then I'm going to give it a 50-50 shot. Either it's going to break down or break up. That's where I'm going to say the odds change. But I don't know why you're listening to me. What you should be listening is to PatternCast, because that's what I'm going to listen to. PatternCast has really predicted most of this, quite frankly, behind the scenes. I haven't shown it to you. But I'll start showing bits and pieces of it. Vili has OCD, and he says, yeah, I actually do. That makes sense. OCD, for those who don't know, is obsessive compulsive disorder. So that's what I think. I think that you shouldn't really listen to me, and quite frankly, PatternCast has actually predicted these moves here. Chuck A says, I watched an interview that described Bitcoin as mainly an invention. It's a decent argument, but I'm not sure exactly what that means, because right now it is more than just an invention. It is something that people are using, not necessarily using it for commerce, but they're certainly using it as an asset that you can either accumulate or trade. Irony, could you spell cast? Well, it's PatternCast. It's all one word. That's our brand name of it. PatternCast. What do you think of Crown's Crypto Cave YouTuber? People have asked me that. I don't really care, quite frankly. He sounds like your typical technical analyst. And my understanding is that he was a market maker at one time, which really means nothing to me. I mean, I've dealt with many market makers in the past. Means nothing. He might be doing well or not doing well. I don't really care. I think he talks too fast and he gives out too much information. I mean, information that has no relevance. Terry Hope, I'm not paying $500 CAD for something I have never seen. Well, I don't care. You can do whatever the hell you want. I will be showing PatternCast calls here and there. You've seen, and I've shown PatternCast calls for futures, Forex, and stocks for the past 2 years. And it's the same technology. It's not going to change just because of the asset. Alex, man, you're much kinder to BTC today than you're selling a service based on. Okay, there is a good there, right there. Alex, that is a very good point. I may sound like I'm kinder to BTC. All right, so I want to be very clear that there are a lot of things that I find wrong with the whole Bitcoin thing. All right. Do I think that it can survive? Do I think that it can become the world's reserve currency? I really don't. Do I think that it's a viable asset to trade? I've always felt that way. Certainly you can trade it. I'm looking at it from a a technical point of view and also from a business point of view that right now it just doesn't make sense to go much higher right now. Could it? Of course it could. Human inclinations are so difficult to predict. I mean, people will get mass hysteria and it could just take off. Has nothing to do with the technology's viability. I do know that the last time it went up to 20,000 though, that the mining fees went through the roof. They went through the roof. And then when it contracted, the miners were just going apoplectic because they couldn't make any money. Chuck A., do you get a Twins calendar with every Bitcoin PatternCast subscription? Yeah, the Twins. We're talking about these guys.
You're watching this video for one reason, to make money. And that's what PatternCast helps the customers here accomplish by delivering trade signals with a strong statistical edge that are timely, reliable, and just work. Most professional traders rely on system-generated signals. They spend thousands, even millions of dollars, but you don't have to. The team here delivers institution-grade signals for less than the price of lunch. PatternCast finds the highest probability opportunities inside decades of data and gets them to you before the market opens. There's never been a more confidence-building way to trade. Click the link below to start your trial today.
So maybe what I'll do, I'll create another video with the Twins with them in bathing suits. How's that sound? Would that get your rocks off? Bitcoin might breach 12K before the end of the show. That I don't believe so. Well, could. It has surprised me, quite frankly. Now, do I think that this is some sort of natural organic growth here? No, I still don't. Gladiator wants to know, these are your daughters. No, they are not. They are not. But she is a very nice woman. Anyways. Will Bitcoin breach 12K before the end of this show? That is a good question. I have to say, it has definitely surprised me. But I'm still holding to this idea that it's about a 70% chance that we go down from here and a 30% chance that we go up. If we break through this area and break through 13,000, then I say there's a 50-50 chance that we're going to moon. Sean Lewis says, Ernie taught me how to successfully trade bond futures years ago. I'll be trying PatternCast with the house money. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sean. So anyways, let me just say it again. I'm going to start really pushing this. If you want to buy Bitcoin signals, I think that they're going to be fantastic. I would recommend Kraken as your trading platform. That's what I'm going to use. They're being introduced now. There will be signals coming out. I will throw out spurious signals just so people can see them. But you're buying them now. You're buying it for a year for only $350. And I agree, Alex. It's pretty low volume, and that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of skeptical on all of this move. I mean, if you look at it from the bigger context, this entire move up has been under extremely low volume. So again, I would say, again, I'm at 70-30 right now, breaking through 13,000. I'm at 50-50 for a moonshot. All right. Although that could change if I see PatternCast and what it predicts this coming weekend? When will Sports Ball Cast be ready? Now that's a good question. That is a future idea for PatternCast, by the way. Sports betting. You changed your YouTube name. No, actually, my YouTube name has always been Ernie Veritimus. It's what I, put out there, This pause is being held up by the liquidation of the alts. That could be. So what you're saying then is that the whales are liquidating their alts, causing their price to go down, and then they're pumping that into Bitcoin. And I could see that. Is Kraken similar to Binance, fees, etc.? That I don't know, Delta Digger. I'm doing this kind of blind based on other people's recommendations. I was looking for an exchange that a U.S. buyer could go in there and apply margin to their Bitcoin trades. And universally, most people came back and said Kraken was the way to go. What's BT PatternCast predict? There wasn't actually a prediction today, but there were predictions in the past that did predict this move up. We didn't get a PatternCast signal today. However, I do expect to get a PatternCast signal this weekend. The thing that's going to be different about PatternCast for Bitcoin is that we can get a signal at any time, any day, where on Forex and futures, we kind of skip the weekend. But Bitcoin signals could come at any day. All right. So please, everybody, go down, hit that like button. If you would, I'd really appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up. Share this video. Tell other people about PatternCast. And take advantage of this price. I mean, it is such a ridiculously low price right now, but it's only going to be good until the end of this month as sort of a promotional thing. You'll be able to get in. Now, obviously, I'm not, because I haven't been really throwing the signals out there, you're taking a little bit of a gamble. Is this thing real? That's why I've put the price down where it is. It will also help us finance some of our work. But it is real. It is 100% real. It's as real as PatternCast has been over the past year. Is Kraken a fiat on-ramp exchange, or can you deposit crypto to it? Man, that's another good question, because I don't know. I put fiat into it. But I'll have all of those questions answered for you this weekend. I'm going to do, because I'm setting up my Kraken account. I'm making sure that I can get in there. Bullish Bear wants to know, what's your opinion on the stock market and the Fed cuts? I think the Fed cuts are bad for the market. And I think that if they cut again, that'll be equally as bad for the market. Sean Lewis is asking, how are the signals delivered? Do I need to be watching a screen, or I can get an alert on my phone? You can get an alert. We'll be sending out emails, and we're going to set it up so that you can get an alert on your phone as well. So it'll be delivered to your email box. See the thing is with PatternCast, you don't have to be, it's not like a timely alert. It gives you the alert for the following day. So you have plenty of time. So that's why we've been concentrating on email. But we will be setting up something that will be sending it out as an SMS alert as well, but it's not necessary. Gladiator wants to know, but how can BTC PatternCast be as real as the other PatternCast signals? It's got very short history. See, that's not the way PatternCast works. See, first of all, virtually every signal that comes out of PatternCast is a different strategy. And that is where the efficacy comes in. We have found that no matter what we put this up against, it has similar performance characteristics. It has nothing to do, because it's not a single strategy. It is literally hundreds of thousands, even millions of strategies that are getting applied. It is strictly a statistical animal that finds patterns that you can't see, that the machine sees. So that's why I'm so like, wow, this thing is so unbelievable, because it is so predictive of just about anything that we put it on, whether it's stocks, futures, Forex, or Bitcoin, or sports betting, or elections, or weather. It is really an incredible technology. So, and what we've seen so far is indicative of all the performance that we've seen in the past. The only thing that I would say that makes PatternCast a little less reliable is that when we have a lack of information, or a lack of volatility, or a lack of liquidity. And when that happens, when those things contract, it doesn't have enough to go on. Now with Bitcoin, that's quite a different story. Bitcoin and crypto, or Bitcoin in particular, has incredible volatility. And so we don't see that at all as being an issue. Ernie, if I buy BTC signals and then want all signals, will you credit my BTC subscription for the whole PatternCast? That's a good question. I might provide a discount. You see, they're two different things. Because even our PatternCast people, we're offering this at just whatever the price is for everybody that's coming in. So I really haven't even thought about that right yet. And I don't think that's going to be entering into the equation for quite some time, because we plan on really growing this business. Bullish Bear says Kraken is the best exchange for fiat in and out. Cool. That's what I've heard too, and so that's why I went with it. Yes, it does require full KYC too. Well, it depends on the level of investment. So if it's anything under $5,000, you can do minimal KYC. If you want to put up to $100,000 in there, then it's a completely different KYC. That's know your customer requirement. Seems to me rate cut create asset bubbles. Everything seems overpriced. What do you think? Seems that a rate cut create asset bubbles. No, a rate cut, I think, instill or deflates confidence in the market. Now, the Fed, I think, was just overdone over the past year, and they raised interest rates way too fast. I think they recognize that, and so now they're trying to pull it back, saying, my bad. But the market's looking at it as they would any kind of rate cut, that this may look like an insurance move to try to go back into your shell a little bit and be a little bit protective of the overall market. And I think that's the way the market is looking at it. And if there's another one, they will look at it again instead of a mea culpa by the Fed. Quite frankly, I think we should just abolish the Fed and get rid of this whole idea of debt-based money. But we'll see. That might happen. It requires KYC if you want to deposit fiat or withdraw fiat. No, it depends on the level of KYC based on the amount that you want to deposit or withdraw. Under 5,000, it's minimal. Above 5,000, it's bigger. It's full KYC, where you have to give them your license and your birth certificate or your passport and your firstborn, all that sort of thing. All right. Now we're done. Again, I want to say, go to PatternCast. Go to PatternCast. Click on Bitcoin Signals. If you're not ready, you can just express your interest. But if you want to take advantage of this ultra low price that I'm offering until the end of the month, then click Purchase Signals now. And you'll get a year subscription at a ridiculously low price of $350. See it right there. It's right there. And you can pay in crypto or fiat. You really won't be sorry. It's going to be an excellent service. I guarantee that. I put my reputation on the line. Getting rid of the Fed would be war. Yeah, it'd be war with the banks. But I don't think that it might result in a war. I'm not sure exactly how that would manifest itself. So that'd be kind of interesting. But that's what I think we need to do. If we did it, then the rest of the world would do it. We would still have all that debt that would have to be repaid. But at least we wouldn't be accumulating any more debt. And I think that that would be a huge boom for our economy just by cutting that off. All right. Now it's time to say goodbye. I want to thank everybody for showing up. Sorry I haven't been here for a week. Been very busy trying to put all of this stuff together. Again, I think that there's a chance, a much greater chance, that we might start mooning on Bitcoin than there was last week. But I still think that the chance is relatively low, just much greater than it was last week. And that's all I've got to say. Thank you very much, guys and gals. Take care. I'm going to be back on this weekend to give some updates on the Bitcoin service, the PatternCast Bitcoin signals. And thanks for the chat. I love interacting with you guys. Please go down, smash that like button. And we'll be back soon. Take care. Have a great weekend.